What might pay attention to? Who knows? Got the Tom Selleck open collar going. All right. Hello, friends. We're not going to look at the camera. We're going to look at each other. But if you're looking at a camera, thanks for joining us. Welcome to episode 4 of the New England Camp Podcast. I'm your host, Bud. I'm joined again with our CEO, Michele Rowcliffe.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Of course. Happy to do it.
We kicked off the year together in our camp tours, and we were in Maine, and now we're going to wrap up. It's colder than you know what. If you're one of our members listening from somewhere else in the country, I have choice words for you. Especially if it's warm where you are, you can fill in the blank as you see fit. I'm a nice guy, though, so you're probably enjoying it. But if you're up here in the New England Northeast dealing with this weather,
it's chilly.
It's very cold.
But at least the sun is out today, so we got that going for us.
And it's always a beautiful day in summer camping. So we're going to get started with looking back at this year. Wherever you go, pause. Wherever you are listening to this, I'm going to do the thing. Click the bell, like, subscribe, etc. Share with your friends. We look forward to engaging with more of you all in the new year. And it's been a wonderful time. So you ready to get started looking back?
Ready, Santa.
Quick banter is what the script says. Can you believe 2025 is almost over?
It is. It was a year. It was a good year. I feel like this was a real positive year from the 5 years that I've been here.
I look at this year as like, I've been here since 2017, 2018, whatever it was. I feel like we have a team now. And I don't mean any disrespect to previous iterations. I mean, I look at the year and we've had a stable crew all year of everybody doing jobs. If you haven't met Haley, Jillian, and Ayla, did I get their names right?
Mm-hmm.
They have been wonderful. And this has been our first full year with them. So I know I can speak for Carrie when I say they've been a godsend for us. And I know that them personally have been a highlight of the year. What for you? I'm going to go off script real quick, though. I just said the people, with these new additions. You work, and you can't say them because I just took them. What was your kind of first top shelf, something that jumped out to you from this year consistently?
I think that I heard the word normal more than ever. One of the beauties of our job is really getting out in the summer and visiting camps. And between the 6 of us, I think we logged over 50 camps this summer.
Yeah.
And I would say the overarching theme is back to normal, whatever normal might mean.
Normal, if you're listening to the pod.
And I mean, we had everything related to COVID, then we had pretty much a staffing crisis. And then in terms of quantity, then we really had to tackle mental health, self-wellness, that sort of thing. And I think we've done a great job, and we've come through on the other side where folks said this summer felt normal. And I joke, and you've heard me say it, like normal was talking about lice. Like, hey, we're talking about lice again, like things that we used to panic about, a decade ago is like, great, lice is back and we can deal with it. So as we were out and about, it just felt great that camping pros felt like they were in their element again and could really focus on the impact they were making on kids.
Normal. It's such I think normal became a naughty word for a little while because we were trying to be, for the right reasons, open, inclusive, reminding ourselves that normal looks different for a lot of different people.
Right.
But when you work in the desk that we work in with 400 camps, 1,500 people, all that kind of stuff, we've recognized that, every community can kind of define what their normal is. And I think the consistent key is the dust has been settling for everybody back into what is this? We say the new normal, but whatever post-COVID analogy you want to make, a lot of normalcy out there. I agree. When I was out there a little bit, most of the questions that came up, they were consistent. None of them involved pandemics or reactions to, knock on wood, overwhelming disasters here in New England. We dodged a lot of bullets in that regard. And the normalcy was a lot of, it was hot, it was cold, it was wet. We had bed bugs or lice or, and these things that we as camp professionals kind of chuckle at because this is what we deal with, folks, to make them come home happy, healthy, and having learned something and made friends. But it was kind of a relief at the end of it all to come back and we'd be sharing notes and just waiting for that other shoe to drop. And by and large, it was a very, very good summer all throughout New England. Before the summer, even. All right, so we're still talking about highlights. That was just kind of generally speaking. New England Camp Conference.
Yes.
I'm going to pivot to that. Last year, I just talked to Carrie. Last year we had, oh God, where are my notes? Oh my, I didn't have my notes ready.
Oh, I know what we had. We had 805 attendees, 92 vendors, and 92 speakers. That's some data I've got in front of me.
That's the same data that I was going to reference, including our keynote, Bob Ditter. If you missed the conference this year, Senor Ditter came up. He came, he talked, we all cried. It was awesome. If you've never been Ditterized, as they used to say back in the day, it was a wonderful, wonderful time to see Bob Ditter there. But at the conference, outside of, again, I took Bob Ditter off the table. And you said about the number of people. If you've never been to our conference, pause. The New England Camp Conference, because we are entering conference season. It is, the registration's open. Keynote's going to be announced. I know our program committee just finished wrapping up their selections. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening now. If you're not familiar with the conference space within the world of ACA, it kind of goes like this. There's really four entities between ACA Inc., and then the affiliates: New York, New Jersey, New England, and Illinois. And all four of us have our own distinct conference space. They're kind of all intertwined, layered on top of one another. And I kind of equate them to award season in movies, where you've got the Golden Globes, you've got SAG-AFTRA, you've got Oscars, you've got Emmys. Everybody's chasing different things for different purposes. And that's kind of like our conference season. I will say ACA Illinois, they used to host what's called Mid-States. And since for the last, 5, 6, 7 years almost now, they've been hosting something called
Women in Camping
Summit. Yep. The Women in Camping Summit, WIC. It kind of stands alone because you've got these other ACA. Women in Camping is an ACA event. It's ACA Illinois specifically. Shout out Colette. But so there's that. That's always on and out there. And then there's kind of this the Steve Irwin's kid being on Dancing with the Stars has got me digging for accents. There's kind of this rotation in the ACA world of the national conference, tri-state, and New England, and it always happens in that order, usually sometime in February-ish, all the way through March. And the national conference, hosted by ACA Inc., somewhere between usually 1,500, 2,000 folks there. It goes by time zones, is it? It's like they're in San Diego this year. I think they're going to Orlando next year. They've been in Dallas. They go around. So ACA Inc. National Conference. After them, Atlantic City, a tradition unlike any other. Tri-State. They host about 3,500 to 4,000. It's the biggest. It's flashy. You're going to meet a lot of people, hundreds of vendors, and it's a big time down there. You go with a crew and you kind of explore, and you'll meet some folks. And then at the end of the cycle, we've got the New England Camp Conference.
You got it.
She said the numbers, and I'm going to tell you the vibe. It's 800 to 1,000 people, and I say it like this: you're going to see friends throughout the whole time. You're going to meet some new people, and then you're going to run into them 2 or 3 times. It is a very intimate, on brand. You're going to see folks dressed like we are. If you're watching on YouTubes or whatever, we're just wearing normal stuff that you would wear to the camp office. You're going to see people there very comfortable. Camps use this as a chance to unofficially kick off their summer. And so I say all that because the New England Camp Conference in and of itself is a highlight for me every year. It to me is when we former camp pros, we're still camp professionals, but we're not in the field like you. We're not on the front lines anymore. But that's our week to kind of shine and have a camp week. So looking back at that this year, knowing that we're still getting ready for next year, what's something that jumped out?
Sure. So just one more thing to comment on the New England brand. I think one of the things that feels really good about our conference is the vast majority of folks stay right there at our hotel, and the events that we have early morning, late night, are really inclusive of the group to keep people involved. So if you don't have a crew, if you're an individual, it's still a very welcoming environment. And with that number, that size, it feels really good. But going to 2025, it's really interesting that you asked me that question. And I don't even know if you remember. I actually had a family emergency.
Totally
on this. I actually had a family emergency, and the day that I arrived in Manchester was also the day I left Manchester because I had to get back home. So a highlight for me is really that the conference continued just fine without me, which, I don't know for job security whether that's good or bad, but the planning, the prep, the staff, the volunteers, the board, everybody jumps in and does what they have to do. And the conference went off without a hitch. So apparently I didn't really need to be there. But it went well. And it's interesting because now as we're going into 2026, I'll sit with you or I'll sit with Carrie or another member of the team and we're like, oh, remember such and such. And I'll just smile and I'm like, no, I don't remember it because I wasn't there. So unfortunately I wasn't there. I have been, numerous times. So, many highlights. I could imagine karaoke because as I was sitting in the hospital dealing with something differently, I was on Instagram on Thursday night watching all the karaoke antics that were going on at the conference, and it was, very positive and lovely. So, how about that?
So, I guess we'll talk about this in my performance review later. My attention to detail. Our fearless leader was not with us for the New England Camp Conference this year, but listen, the fact that we're all sitting here talking like this about it all can give you an idea of where we are now. So very happy that everything worked out.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to next year's conference. Speaking of, organizationally, if you don't know what Michele does, she's the CEO of ACA New England. So she works a lot with our board of directors mostly and the leadership's team here and our camps and our vendors. Actually, we all do a little bit of everything, but you work a lot with the people up top. So organizationally, we talked about how this past summer, there's a lot of normalcy for our friends in the field. We do see from our conversations and inquiries and our tours what the challenges are facing the industry right now. But with all that kind of teed up there, what are our goals, or what are some of your goals for the organization looking into next year?
I think this time of year is when we really start to look at our current board slate. We'll have folks who'll roll off the board. They've served 2 terms and we'll have to move on. And we do have a number of openings this year. I think we're going to ultimately have 5 or 6 openings. So really spending time thinking about skill sets of our volunteers, what they're able to add as we continue to grow here at ACA New England. We have a great stewardship committee. Names are being vetted. There's an application out there where you can nominate yourself, you can nominate a friend, submit an application. It really, we want to find the best people to sit on our board that represent a diverse population of camps, that has regional diversity in all of our states, day camps, overnight, nonprofit, for-profit, consultants, skill sets. We want a broad range for everybody. So that is one of the goals, I'd say, that's really on the list right now. And then being a membership organization, and as you know, the talk always in this office is, what do we provide to our members? I think we'll probably talk a little bit more about some of our numbers in professional development, but each year we continue to increase our offering to members because we want to be able to provide as many resources as we can so that you guys and camping pros feel the most qualified, confident, prepared to run the best summer program ever. So just continuously listening to the field of what's needed and trying to find the best type of facilitator, presenter, style, and pushing it back on membership is really important to us.
Service and leadership. That's what I take from that. We're looking for people to help us broaden our leadership and help with new strategic decisions. This was my first nonprofit job, admitting, and so learning a lot about the nonprofit operation, boards and how you build them, why you build them. A lot of you listening to this or watching this might work with or on or for boards. And I will encourage you all, reach out to Michele if you ever need help, you ever want to think out loud, whether it's an answer that we have in this office or she has in her brain. We definitely have it in our network, and that's one of the strengths here. So if you know folks, or if you are that person, I wrote down, nominate yourself. I got a great quick side anecdote because you can't get through a conversation without story time with Uncle Bud. A young staff member from one of our camps, I was talking to them as a friend of a friend, and they were disgruntled because a job had come up at the last minute. This happens to people, leadership team member left, I had to go for an emergency reason. Boom, we need a new blank. And this person really wanted that job, but they were kind of upset that they didn't get it. And I asked, well, did you apply for it? And they said, well, I was kind of hoping that they would see my hard work. And I said, okay. So, well, who got it? And they were like, some person from the outside. They just called and said, I heard about the job and I'm interested. And then they got it. And I just let that hang for a minute. Hey, I think I would be a good addition to the ACA New England Board of Directors. Whether that's now, later, we have a conversation and it's not a good fit or it's the perfect fit, raise your hand, reach out. I will say that in my years of camping, teaching, sales, travel, etc., I have never ever in my life discovered a more collegial, competitive group of people than the camp professionals. So strategic leadership and service.
Yeah.
If you need something, call us because that's what we're here for.
I mean, I echo it. We have 1,400 plus members, and we don't know everybody. So put yourself out there. And if you don't want to commit fully to a board, committee work, accreditation, there's some way to get involved. Our strength is in our volunteers and our friends and our colleagues.
What a pivot. She didn't even know she was doing that, but that's exactly where I was going next, is to this engagement, the memberships. Like you said, what can we give to you? A lot of times the members want us to give back, and we are grateful because without the members, we're nothing. We're a membership association first and foremost. And one of the big things those members do, one of the big things, the roles they provide or perform is accreditation. And this last year, I'll give you a couple of digits real quick. Shout out to Haley Musso, our new accreditation volunteer manager. Thanks to her coordination, Jillian's support with helping us host our ABCs, that's our volunteer courses, and Ayla for getting the word out as always. We had a really successful year in accreditation and standards. We had 57 successful visits. 8 camps got accredited for the first time. We had 120 of our 220 New England visitors out doing visits for us. So we have an active base membership specifically there in accreditation. But as you pointed out, if you have questions about other things, if you're looking to get involved, we have operational committees, we've got some strategic committees, we've got planning committees, we have ad hoc situations and scenarios, and this is your association. If you have an idea that you're looking to implement or get going, give us a call. Sometimes we have the bandwidth or the resources or support to help or even partner with people.
Right. And I know we just had an AVC, an associate visitor course, just this fall, a week or two back in Maine, and I think we've got 14 new visitors already on the docket for next summer. One more, I'm assuming, in March too.
We are going to do another AVC in March. So if you're thinking to yourself, how do I get involved? Stay tuned, look online, call us, smoke signal, carrier pigeon, Morse code, whatever it takes. You mentioned that is the AVC course is but one of many professional development opportunities or networking engagement. By my last count, we had north of 60 some odd events, things, happenings, whether that's coffee and camp chat, workshops, fall seminar, tours. What from this year in our professional development offerings jumped out to you?
Yes. I think something that we offer each year is our resource communities. Our resource communities are cohorts focused on kind of one subject, and they meet 9 to 10 times throughout the year, not through the summer, but fall through spring, some in person, some virtual. And I think the success of them have been really great. I know last year we had a day camp leaders cohort, an independent overnight camp leaders cohort, and a nonprofit camp leaders cohort. And I know this year we kicked off a DEI specific cohort as well as a mid-level career cohort. So they have met twice so far this year. And I'm actually sitting in and participating as a participant in our DEI cohort. So really getting to experience it with one of our board members and, developing a community for myself that I can tap into throughout the year also.
Listen, folks, if you go to a restaurant and you see the chef out front and they don't eat at their own restaurant, don't go there. The resource communities, I think that's a perfect kind of embodiment of there are layers to our professional development or even our networking and engagement where we do get deep. We'll get groups together, and here you are, go forth and conquer. We have just drop-ins every other week or sporadically based on topic. We pay attention. We have one recently, or we just had one, a What's the Buzz on around gender inclusivity.
Right.
If something's bubbling up to the top currently within your group or around camping, Carrie is phenomenal at pivoting, and she's also phenomenal at proactively planning. So always be looking out to acanewengland.org for what's coming down the pike. We always have a lot of stuff going on online, but really what we're going to be adding to in 2026 is we're hoping to get out on the road a little bit more with a couple more in-person opportunities, because that was one more takeaway from 2025 is folks are ready to see each other again. And they will, drive a little bit. But depending on when you're listening to this, you may or may not catch up with us in Bridgeton on the 15th. We're doing Coffee and Camp Chat live. We're going to take that on the road a couple times and hopefully come to a town near you all so that you can get away from your own camp bubbles, stay within the camp network or bubble, or whatever you want, and connect with one another, grow, develop. We're not doing rocket surgery here, so it does help to have friends in the field who can help.
Yeah, in addition to the conference, which is obviously in person, we have our new camp director workshops. We offered that twice in person. We did our fall seminar on emotional and behavioral management policies. We do a spring workshop. Last year it was on counseling skills for a new age. We do our hot topics sometimes in person, and we do our camp tours. So this year we were in New Hampshire, and we visited both day and overnight camps in New Hampshire. We partnered with ACA New York, New Jersey. We're out to a bunch of overnight camps in Maine. So in person is continuing to grow. I mean, it's great online. So much can happen. It's so easy to coordinate, but still some of the in-person has been great. I mean, our web-based sessions this year, we did sessions on navigating overtime rules, child mental health, self-harm at camp, youth suicide prevention, aquatics risk management, MESH, thinking like an occupational therapist, our staffing summit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can keep listing them, but I mean, that's where we've really been growing. We've got this full team, and we're here to provide resources for our community.
If we're missing something, holler at us, because as you can see, we are nimble, we pivot. By the way, fun fact, etc. It's I'm not connected. Et cetera. I was a Latin dork, and apparently there's no soft C. So even it's Julius Caesar. It's not Julius Caesar. But then again, we're in America, or America, as they say in some places. The thing, and one more quick comment about our professional development, or our offerings, our engagement, and all that, and all that jazz. The in-person stuff is growing. What I think we'd like to see is online's phenomenal for quick, organic kind of exchanging of information. If you want to get deep, if you want to get in there, there's something about sharing a physical space that we've discovered. And so if it's not hosted by us, even, I highly encourage you to go out and get involved with people in the camp space, especially if you're not involved with your state association. Maine does a great job of it. They all do it. This Massachusetts, Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, sorry, Florida kid who got relocated. Every state in New England has a state association, and almost all of them now are doing these drop-ins and hangouts on new NH camps. They allow us to come on their monthly drop-ins. So whether it's ACA New England or anybody else in the space, New England is an incredibly loving, open camp community that's looking to grow. And we know that growth doesn't just mean more camps. It means better camping. It means more opportunities and exchangement of ideas. So that's what we're looking to do here at ACA New England. It was a successful 2025. We did a lot of accrediting. We did a lot of standards, and we did a lot of conferencing. We did a lot of camp touring. We did a lot more social media, did some more emails. If we're missing stuff, let us know. This is what we're here for. And hopefully, if you're listening to this or watching this, go ahead. If you didn't do it already, subscribe, like, share. It's not just podcast episodes. We're going to be getting more of our information out through these channels, because the more we can reach, the more good that we're doing.
Can I do a shout out?
I would love for you to do
All right. I continuously want to shout out our board, our committee members, our visitors, our donors. So each year, ACA New England does raise money through their annual fund. We're just off the shoulders of Giving Tuesday, which was last week. I mean, phenomenal. We raised over $8,800 last Tuesday, which was a $2,000 increase from last year. And what feels so good about that is the way we use our annual fund is we give it back to our community. We give it back in the form of scholarships or stipends. Sometimes folks just need a little extra to help with travel, to help with a hotel cost, a registration. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just the things that we're offering. Right. We want folks within our community to grow, and depending what that means for you, you just might need a little bit of a financial boost. So we've had folks attend the national conference, our own conference, our online workshops. We've helped folks get to ACA Camp Hill Days in DC. please, 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 if there's ever a financial barrier for something that we're offering or something that you see across the country, just reach out, because we raise the funds to give them out. I mean, that is 100% of what we do. And then the last thing I want to do is kind of like sit on extra cash that hasn't been given away, because that is not the purpose of raising the money. You know, some folks, some camps are in a really good position where they want to give back to other people within this industry. So I think financial assistance and stipends are a little bit, I don't want to say of a hidden secret, because it's not a secret by any means, but we definitely have some funding available, and do not ever feel bad about reaching out.
All right. In a former life, I was a creative writing teacher. I make no secret about that. And I think in analogies. And it's almost like our annual fund is almost like that really good pizza joint that we want everybody to experience who really needs it or could benefit from it. But we can't do 3,000 pies every Friday for everybody in the neighborhood. So, but that doesn't mean that you can't call, ask, please. We are here for you. I was laughing about that because I'm like, we have money to give and to share, and we're not shy about it. You know, we want to make sure that we're creating better camp professionals for everybody, because at the end of the day, we are a membership association.
And it's really important to expose new people to 100%. The things that we offer. So if you have a camp down the street or a colleague across the lake who's never experienced something with us, this might help get them involved. So the more we can bring into our fold, the stronger we're going to be.
100%. Do you have any holiday plans?
Going down to Florida to see the family like I do each year.
You're abandoning New England. Like most of the people probably listening to this, though, let's be honest. Most people are going to get out of here. I just relocated to lovely Kennebunk, Maine. So shout out to our Mainers and the intense cold coming down to the office this morning. There's a very distinct difference once you get into Massachusetts. The snow just disappears right away. All right, listen. Thank you for hanging in there. If you're listening to this, thank you, Michele, for hanging out this morning. We got work to do in this office to wrap up the year. If you're listening to us now, I say thank you one more time, and stay tuned. We have more coming next year. We're going to get more of our volunteers involved. This is episode 4 of the very first run at this that we're doing full time. So stick around. Anything else you want to say on our way out?
Happy holidays. Enjoy the rest of the calendar year. 2026 is right around the corner.
Wherever you are, we hope you're happy, healthy, and with people that you can love or tolerate. Happy holidays, folks.
Peace.